It's KP, finally with the Red Dead Redemption review. Now I know you haven't seen me in a really long time, which I have to apologise for, but I'm back and I'm getting into the feel of my theme today. I've got my checkered shirt, I've got my hat, which is incidentally a little too big, and I've got... because you're nothing without a toothpick. Now as you can probably tell, I'm no stranger to the Western genre. Some of my personal favourites include my clinic. It sounds like I said my clinic. It's my clinic. True Grit. I don't like the way he's plucking that turkey. Support your local sheriff. The Dollars trilogy. My mule don't like you living. And Sons of Katie Elder. There ain't no such word as clum. Referencing over. And Magnificent Seven and Wild Bunch, which I also have downstairs, but I'm not gonna go get it. But you know, while I'm at it, why don't I just mention every Western ever created? Aw, now I have hat hair. Darn you, cowboy hat.
My cause is to keep this town from turning into a living hell for the folks who live here. Whole world has problems, mister, and I'm here doing what I can.
The general story, to me, kind of felt like a wink and a nod to all the classic westerns out there. There are a lot of stories, characters, kind of plot devices within it that, reference the classic westerns. The first guy you meet in Mexico sounded uncannily similar to the first Lee Van Cleef? What, there was two? I did kind of notice a lot of Wild Bunch-esque things in there too. The story flowed really well, but I really thought the development of the main character, John, was brilliant because it wasn't done in your stereotypical, I don't know, character development, cutscenes, or things that are usually scripted into the game. It was done so subtly that you felt you were getting to know him on a personal level. On this theme though, all of the supporting characters all had depth and dimensions to them as well, which made it brilliant, and it also made the sub kind of missions enjoyable, not just on a gameplay level. I do want to say though that it seemed that every woman within this verse, barring the Mexican women, sounded like Bonnie. Was it an eerie coincidence? Was the spirit of Bonnie stalking John on his journey, or did they just use the same voice actress? I'll let you decide. One downside to this story was that the cutscenes and the travel sequences were a little bit long and kind of wordy, which did lose my interest in parts, which is definitely saying something because I really like my cutscenes. Probably a bit too much, but overall the story was good. Now gameplay. Now originally, in the very beginning, the tutorial drove me a little nuts. The location of the box was kind of in the top left and the type was too small and it flashed on screen for about 2 seconds. It left me just tearing my hair out and having a conversation with the computer that kind of sounded like this. I can't uncrouch. How do you uncrouch? It doesn't tell me how to uncrouch.
Stand up!
But once I got to grips with the whole thing and I realised that the map was my best friend, I was fine with it. The main storyline provided a lot of kind of gun-related action, which was really good in the gameplay, but I think the best part of it for me was just all the side missions. I was riding in the open country and skinning animals and hunting treasure and killing bandits. It was something that I got into so much, and I'm not sure if that's because I was such a fan of playing cowboys and Indians when I was a kid, but I don't know, it felt like such fun. I also gotta say that riding horses was a lot of fun. The controls were really smooth and it was generally a really fun way to travel. But it also fulfilled my wish that I never really fully realised until I played this game, and we can all thank it to McClintock.
I don't Lego! Oh.
Did you bring your old uncle a coming home present?
Sure did.
What is it?
A mustache cup. And what did you get me?
Prettiest Palomino pony that ever packed a saddle. Broke the stand, drowned, tie in the gown.
I wanted my own Palomino pony, and of course I can't get one in real life, so what was the first thing I did? I went out there and I wrote myself the closest looking one to a Palomino I could find. And I stayed with it. It wasn't until some stole it from me.
It leads back to you.
The graphics were just... There were times when I was playing the game when it felt like their environment was just, I don't know, like expanding into my living room. It all looked so real, it felt real. There was a range of weather going on during the game. just brilliant. The rain looked as good as the snow looked as good as the sunny weather looked as good as the foggy weather. I don't think I've seen an environment this realistic since Assassin's Creed 1, and I mean, when that first came out, I was so in awe, it felt like my eyes were bleeding, True Blood style. And it didn't just focus on the realism of it, it took the beautiful things that we see in life, if that makes sense. I mean, there's areas like, I don't know, riding a horse through snowfall at dusk when the sun is shining through the trees in those shards. It was just even small things like the muscles on the horse and their clothes blowing in the breeze, and I'm really starting to ramble here, so I'm just gonna say that the graphics are just perfection. The musical score was really clever in kind of taking all those classic Western soundtracks and music that we know and reworking it, kind of taking it into the, sorry, there was a really strange bug at my window. Anyway, kind of like rattlesnake rattles and harmonicas and things like that. I mean, it all sounded it set the scene very well. And I mean, my favourite ones were at night time. Because anyone who's played it, as you know, when you're riding around the country at night, you're going to be attacked by 50 billion cougars. I mean, you do during the day anyway, but at night it's 10 times worse because all the freaks come out at night to come and steal your horse and eat you alive and all that fun stuff. But the music playing at night was really scary. And I mean, like, there's a piano going, kind of odd notes, and really good actually. I was really quite surprised, but no, it definitely reworked all the classic Western themes that we kind of know and love. What I really liked too were the song pieces that they played. There's a couple of times within the game that you reach a certain part of the story, or you go on your horse and you have to ride to somewhere important, and when that happens, a song will start. And I really liked that because it made you feel like you were in a movie. And it was just so good. I really loved the kind of atmosphere they created by doing that. And the songs themselves are really, really good. And I'll put the titles of them in the description box because they're definitely my favourites and I do listen to them quite often. But I just loved the way they did that. So you kind of had your musical score going on in the background, creating atmosphere as it should, and then you have these song pieces that come in at kind of very important parts in the story, and I really liked that. Overall, to me, it felt a little bit like a Western themed game for Western film fans. Of course, you can play it if you're not familiar with that kind of genre and still enjoy it, which is the beauty of the game. But it really catered to the hardcore fans, I think, by putting those little winks and nods in there. I'm gonna give it a 9.5 overall because it took the story and genre and the gameplay, and they fine-tuned it so well that it was just a brilliant game. All the side missions and the main story was so long you could play it for days if you wanted, and I liked that. But the glitches were many, and trust me in that, and the cutscenes were too long and too wordy and just at some points a little bit dull. But the soundtrack was great, graphics were brilliant, the gameplay, as I said before, you could just play it for days and still not get bored of it, and that's a huge achievement. So overall, I'm gonna give it a 9.5. So thank you for watching this video, guys, but it doesn't end here for some of you. I'll put a link somewhere to the rest of the video where I'll be talking about the ending, which, as you know, is going to be a huge spoiler. So the people who have finished the game, by all means watch it. To the people who haven't finished the game, I'll see you in my next video, and yeah, I'll see you all soon. The bug is back! If it goes in my window, I can't be held responsible for, I don't know, what happens. Swat! Oh, there goes my toothpick. My mule. I can't do it, it's hard. Now, some of my favourites include, and I'm gonna have to take this out, my mule, I'm like you laughing.